Good morning. This is Grandma Freeman. Welcome to my sewing room. Today I'm going to start by assembling the bodice pieces together. And first of all, I skipped step 1 because I don't want to make that pocket. I don't want any pockets in the front of this dress. I think it looks better for this type of a dress. And so the first thing you'll need to do, we'll go on to step 2. Or actually, this is still part of step 1. It's assembling the bodice. Making gathers. Okay, I'll just show you. To make gathers, you need to use the basting stitch on your sewing machine. For mine, I can adjust it, my stitches, and this is 4, number 4 on the stitch length. So that's my machine, and I have a Singer. And this is the model number. You know, I don't think Singer is making sewing machines anymore, so that would be difficult to find unless you found it at a secondhand store. Okay, so that's what I did. You gather 5/8 inch on the back. You start at 5/8 inch, and you do the basting stitch all the way across, and this is what it looks like. The bottom one stitches the 5/8, and then you go to the 1/2 inch, and you do the same thing, and you gather from notch to notch on the front pieces and the back pieces, and that's what I've done. And then you pin it together. I pinned the side at the sleeve edge and the neck edge. That's where I started. I put a pin in to make sure that it's even. And then you pull these together, these pieces. You pull these pieces up together, and then as you get that, you try to get them as even as you can, and show, as a gathering, and then so that you don't have like a pleat looking type of a gather. You want it just to be gathered, and the gathering is to give you more room for especially for full figured bodies. And the same thing over here. And then the back, I'll show you what it looks like. Now this is where it was folded. Now when I press this, which I have to do at the end of step 1, is press it, and I'll get those out. And you press the lower pieces to the bodice, and when you press it towards the bodice, the front and the back. So I haven't sewn these together. The next thing they said on the instructions is to baste it, hand baste it. And that's so that when you do your gathers, there is neat and not too, as gathered just like this. And I will pull, like that one looks like it needs, but it's just the way it's showing there. I will make sure that my gathers are pretty carefully done. And that's what the hand stitching is, to help you to gather as perfectly as you can. It's tedious. It does take time to do gathers, but for a blouse or a bodice like this, for this dress, it looks much better. It gives it more fullness in that area. So the next step I have to do now is to machine stitch it. I'm going to use for this, I think, 2.5 on my machine. It's not inch, it's just 2.5. So that's what I'll have to do, is make sure I adjust that before I begin stitching these pieces together. And then after I do that, then I will stay stitch the neck edge all the way from that end to that end. That is to keep it from unraveling. It gives it more, it makes it stronger around the neck. So this is a project that's going to take a while. I can see that. But it's important to follow your steps one at a time and always read your directions and make sure that you're see, that's basically what is going to, they show it that way. I showed it the way so that you could see my gathers in the front. You could see the inside of the blouse, and then the back part, you could see the outside and what gathering looks like. It's very nice, and it gives you more space, more room. And I did try this on, and it's going to fit. This size 16 is going to fit me, and I'm also trying to lose a little belly fat, and because I'm not a small person. I'm overweight and not too tall. I'm about average size, I guess. I'm in the average. And my BMI is not where I want it to be. I need to lose in the middle. That's where I seem to gain weight. And for my size and my bone structure, I really don't carry weight well. And I know there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of us that are in that situation. But when I was young, I was thin, very thin, and at times too thin. And I found, having children, I have 2 sons, and having to cook for men and boys is have to make sure they get plenty to eat as they were growing up. So step 2 is going to be the collar and the facing. So the collar piece is going to have an inner facing, and I have to attach it. And that's done with the basting stitch all the way around. And this is just putting the inner facing on the collar. And it to the wrong side of the collar. So it won't be on the piece that will be seen attached to it. It'll be attached to the back of the collar that is behind. And that's not hard. That's an easy step. So I'm just showing you so that you know what the next step is. So what I have to do now is sew these by machine. And I have to go slow I suggest going slow and be very, kind of ease that gathering in so that it's not all clumped up, if you know what I mean. Okay, and I'm making this dress with the long sleeves, and it has buttons on the cuffs and 2 buttons on the front of the dress. Let's see. Yes, there's only 2 buttons. Well, I'll have to look and see, make sure of that. And I have buttons. I have plenty of buttons. In fact, when something wears out, it's a good idea to cut your buttons off or to take your buttons off and save them, because you never know when you're going to need an extra button or 2. Okay, that's where I'm at with this now. I have all my pieces cut out, and my tailor tacks are in. You can see, I don't know. They don't show up on the backs, the wrong side of this material. Okay, now I guess I better get busy and get this going as much as I can. Thanks for watching. Bye now.